The Surface Go checks a lot of the boxes for the next generation of computers. It's portable, versatile, well-designed, and affordable. Over the last week or so, I've spent a lot of time using it for both work and general everyday use. Here are my favorite features of the device and a couple things to be aware of if you're considering the Surface Go. When I first looked at it, I was a little bit concerned about the performance due to the small footprint of the device. It runs the Intel 4415Y, and performance for the most part has been a pleasant surprise. Now there's two versions of this machine. The one I got is the highest spec one with 128 gigabytes of storage and 8 gigabytes of RAM. It runs really well for everyday tasks. Desktop apps are snappy and responsive. I was able to do all the basics with Word and Excel and all of the business and productivity apps I need for my job. The performance breaks down a little bit when you are doing a lot of multitasking, like watching a YouTube video while trying to run a couple other programs. You get some small stutters, and from my experience, it seems to be CPU related with the usage around 100%. But if you keep it to a single app, you can run apps like Lightroom and it performs surprisingly well. The one thing I would say is you want to make sure to keep the computer plugged in as much as possible if you want to run some of the more multitasking and resource intensive applications. Plugging into the Surface dock, I was able to drive my display at 3440 by 1400 resolution, with the Surface display being off during this time. It's pretty crazy to think about doing that with a device of this price and form factor. I could carry this tiny device into work, plug it into the dock, and do everything I needed to do. Now, to me, that really feels like the future of computers. The second strong point to me, along with that, is the OS itself. It runs a full version of Windows. Now, it comes with Windows 10S, but you get the free upgrade to Windows 10 Home, or you could go with Pro. This allows you to install any of the desktop applications that you may need for work or school or just things you use every day. It's really convenient to not have to rely on a mobile app version of whatever application you need to use. The next thing I realized pretty quickly and have come to appreciate is the quality of the speakers. It has front-facing stereo speakers and they really sound surprisingly good for the price. It was much better than I expected, and I found myself using them to listen to YouTube videos, music, podcasts, and you really can turn these on and have somewhat of an enjoyable listening experience. Now, I know this is a feature of all the sort of Surface devices, but something I found to be one of the things I use the most after using it every day was the stand. Having the integrated stand in the back is really nice because with a device of this form factor, it's a little big to hold comfortably in your hand, but you don't want to prop it up using a keyboard on your lap. So you can adjust the stand to any position, and it gives you just a lot of options for using this when you're laying around the house. Wherever you're using it, the stand makes it just super convenient to have it built in. The keyboard cover is another strong point. It's something I wanted to touch on because it is a little expensive, but I wanted to make a point to use this for a couple days exclusively and to really see how it is. And I found it to be really solid, really reliable, and well made. You actually can use this keyboard cover in my experience. The only downside is the port selection. It only has one USB-C port, a headphone jack, and then the Surface connector. Now, if you're using the Surface connector, it opens up a ton of different possibilities with the dock, but that's really expensive. So the USB-C is all you have, so you just keep that in mind when you're thinking about getting this. But I do like that they have a headphone jack because, as I mentioned before, I'm a big fan of using wired headphones in sort of day-to-day listening and usage. But overall, this is a super solid device. Now, I did a review on the Surface Book 2 if you want to check that out here. Sort of a similar format. After using this thing for a week, I really would recommend it. To me, it feels like a huge step forward in the future of sort of portable computing, and I enjoyed the experience, and I'm going to keep using this thing probably day to day for the foreseeable future. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. As always, guys, thanks for watching. I really appreciate it, and see you next time.